Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess. It is somehow the middle of the year, I think. Almost. I'm currently filming this and it's the end of May, but I'm filming it because I'm gonna be out of the country for a few weeks. So a little early, but by the time you see it, it'll be closer to halfway. Anyway, here's the mid-year tag, a booktube classic, and so I was like, why not film this staple video, even though, Anyway, this year, I think June 30th to be exact, would be 5 years on booktube, and I can't believe it's been 5 years since 2020, because I started this channel in lockdown when we lived in Sicily, and a lot has changed. I was talking to friends the other day and I was like, wow, I really miss when I read a lot and like enjoyed a lot of my reading, because that has not been the recent experience. Also, when I started my channel, I had Nigel and I don't have him anymore. So I mostly try not talking about it because I can't do it without crying. It's been 2 months. Only been 2 months, but it feels longer. So that was a difference when I started my channel. Sometimes when I say it out loud, I feel silly because I'm like, it was a dog, but he meant everything to me. So most days just feel really dim. This year just really sucks. Reading wise, it hasn't been great, and life wise has been really terrible. So, I'm sorry. The best book that I've read so far, I really do have to go look at Goodreads because it feels like I've read nothing this year, although I know I have. It says that I've read 24 books. Is that correct? I don't know if that, Goodreads, I know, Storygraph, don't just shh, okay. Goodreads is so annoying with this new way they have the reading challenge, because it'll duplicate books that I have on here. And then it'll also just like have another one. So I don't even know if that number is accurate. What has been the best? There's really two that stand out. And so I would say Radicalized by Cory Doctorow. Which I thought when someone told me about it in a sprint, I thought it was nonfiction. It's not. It's like 4 short stories, but they're, well, let me see when it was written. Okay, it came out in 2019, but they're very like, it gives like Black Mirror, because like one story is about this woman who is like a refugee and her struggle to get, I'm pretty sure it's to America, and then like the struggle to get housing and all of those things, and then she like finally gets into a place and the technology, like the dishwasher, the toaster, you can only use like certain bread in the toaster, certain pods in the dishwasher. Like you have to basically like jailbreak your things if you don't want to use specific to those things. Like I read it, I think I read it in January, or February, but it was so interesting, like that one, because that's like a real thing already, but it like still had a hint of like futuristic, like it had extremes that we haven't gotten to yet. There was another one that was about like, I think a forum where people who their loved ones were going through cancer. I meant to write a review. I've been trying to write more reviews this year, but it was just really interesting. The description says, here are 4 urgent stories from the author about our world today, and it's all too near future. So that was the thing. It's not like super far out. I'm sure in 2019 it was a little bit more distance, but especially now reading it in 2025, a lot of it is, you're like, yeah, this will happen. So it was like eerie. And so I think it definitely reminded me of like Black Mirror, but just how, I haven't watched the newest season, but like this made me uncomfortable, how Black Mirror makes me uncomfortable, especially as we've progressed with Black Mirror. You're like, oh, okay, this isn't a show anymore. This is just like a documentary. It's a glimpse into our very near future. So I really enjoyed that one. And then the other one would be a nonfiction, which is Everything is Tuberculosis, The History and Persistence of Our Deadliest Infection by John Green. I read and loved his other nonfiction that Anthropocene reviewed. So when this was coming out, I was like, oh, I want to read it, because he has like this fascination with tuberculosis. I think it's really accessible, and it's really interesting. Like, the title is very fitting, because he, you know, explains kind of the history, the evolution of tuberculosis across different cultures, different things it's been called, different reasons certain things are, like all the things that it's touched and impacted. And I hadn't realized just how much things relate back to tuberculosis. You know, it's like the, what is it, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon is really like 4 degrees of tuberculosis. And I think he's a really good audiobook narrator. So I listened to the audio along with the physical, because I did get a copy from Penguin. And so of course I had little notes in that. I think at one point I texted Andrew, I'm like, what do the Stetson, the guy who the creator of the hat, World War I and something have in common? And he's like, what? I'm like, tuberculosis. So it's fascinating. Like, it's heartbreaking also, because he includes real stories of people that he has met that were fighting tuberculosis, and that was really sad, but just also just adds another layer of human touch, because it's not just like this far off thing that happened in the 1800s. Like, it was then and it still is now. And he, you know, says why it still is such a deadly infection, because obviously we haven't put in enough time and money to do the research, and it's just really good. I recommend that one. Best sequel that I've read in 2019. I don't think I've only read one sequel, because I don't read that much. Yeah, I've only read one sequel, and it was The Mad Ship, and I have a lot of feelings about that. And I think I did a review, like a little wrap up video of those thoughts. I read it. New release you haven't read yet but want to. What has come out this year that I haven't? A new release has come out, but I want to. I don't even know. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I do have that in from the library. I haven't read any Joe Abercrombie, but I've heard good things about this one, and I'm wondering if maybe this would be a better entry to Joe Abercrombie. I know I need to read First Law. That's the only one I could think off the top of my head. Ooh, and The Raven Scholar. I've heard a lot of promising reviews about The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. So those two would be new releases I haven't read yet. Biggest disappointment, everything. Would have to be Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I have a review on this, and I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, and it makes me sad because the last 3 I read by her were 5 stars, but this one just, the tropes didn't work for me. Too insta-lovey, too much. The female main character working in social media made the book just be so many social media and TikTok references, and I read it quickly. I did, you know, laugh sometimes, like, oh, this is cute. So again, I didn't hate it, but it just fell flat for me compared to the last 3. But I still will give her next book a chance. Biggest surprise. I'm gonna say this in a different way. I think biggest surprise is usually meant to be like biggest one, like a positive. I'm gonna take this differently and say biggest surprise, Bad Mormon, a memoir by Heather Gay, just because I heard so much drama around this book watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and none of it was about the most surprising thing in this book, which, spoiler, the most surprising thing in this book was that Heather, upon meeting her cousin, I don't know if they're first, second, or third cousin, and whatever, she was doing boudoir photo shoots. She did one of her cousin, told her to take her underwear off for the photos she did. At the end of the photos, she picked up the thong and put it in her pocket. And I think that's weird. And I don't know why no one was saying that, talking about that part. That was my biggest surprise. Okay, end of spoiler. Favorite new author? I don't know. No one that I've read this year so far, that since I've read one book was enough for me to like, yeah, you're my favorite. Newest fictional crush. Again, not reading a lot of fantasy. That's where I usually have a fictional crush, so I don't feel like I have one for that these days. Sad for me. Although I did really like the main male character in the first book in the Boonesboro trilogy by Nora Roberts. The Next Always, his name was Beckett Montgomery. I really liked him. And I love that name. Newest favorite character? I don't think I have one this year. I'm not doing too good here. They made you cry. I don't think any of the books that I've read have made me cry. Not the traditionally published. Now, fan fiction, yes, but none of the books have made me cry. I will say that some of them have made me like angry. Most of the nonfiction, like The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom by Sherry Frankie, that made me so angry. Also Takedown, Inside the Fight to Shut Down Hub for Child Abuse, Trafficking. Mackenzie Comes to Town, that one made me angry. So I've had a lot of emotions, just not any crying. Book that made you happy, I guess Say You Remember Me. It has some cute moments, so that'll work. Oh, I guess The Next Always by Nora Roberts, because I was really in the mood for a small town romance, and it delivered. I read the second one, and I liked that one, but not as much as the first one. She was a widow, and she had 3 boys, and then so he steps in, obviously, and they end up together. But you know I love a man taking care of kids that aren't his own. I eat it up every time. So The Next Always by Nora Roberts made me smile. That Beckett Montgomery, what a man. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year? I've only purchased, like, I think they were just nonfiction. I haven't bought any pretty books this year. Wait, I have one, but it's not here with me. Depending on when I edit this, I'll be able to edit it in, but it was from like a Kickstarter from like last year, and I finally received it. It's from Michael J. Sullivan. So if I can edit that in, that'll be the most beautiful one that I've had. And lastly, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? List them all. These are just some of the ones I hope to read that I've requested from the library, or I may have an e-arc of, or I already own. Will I get to any of these? That's to be determined. Hopeful. List them all. This is dying. So let me know how your year of reading has gone. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.